Okay, let's just jump right into this, because what we're talking about is huge. The United States has done something pretty much unthinkable. They've captured the sitting president of Venezuela. Now, the official story is that this is all part of the war on drugs. But a lot of people are saying, hang on a second. They think the real prize here isn't about drugs, it's about oil. So we're going to unpack the two very different stories behind this wild military operation.
So what's really going on here? Was this a totally necessary strike to take down a narco-terrorist? Or was it a strategic play to get control over the biggest oil reserves in the entire world? Let's dig in. All right, before we can even get into the why, we have to be crystal clear on the what. Let's just walk through the basic facts of what happened, the stuff that nobody disputes. On January 3rd, 2026, things moved fast. I mean, really fast. The US launched a major military operation right inside Venezuela, hitting key military sites. And then came the moment that shocked everyone. President Nicolás Maduro and his wife were taken into custody by US forces. Just like that, they were on their way to New York to face federal charges.
Okay, so how do you even begin to justify something that dramatic? Well, the US has an official answer, and it's based on some incredibly serious accusations.
The legal firepower here is intense. President Maduro is being charged with drug trafficking. Yeah, but the really big one is narco-terrorism. That's the idea that he was using the drug trade to fund terror. The US government is claiming that he was personally in control of cocaine pipelines that were feeding drugs straight into America.
And that's the heart of the official line. They're framing this as a law enforcement issue, not a political one. It's about taking a supposed kingpin off the board, not about interfering with another country's government. But, and this is a huge but, this is where the official story starts to get a little complicated. While the US has made these charges, we haven't seen any independent agencies publicly release the hard evidence, the smoking gun that proves Maduro himself was controlling these drug routes. And that gap, between the accusation and the proof, well, it opens the door for a completely different story. And that brings us to the other side of the coin, the counter-narrative. This is the explanation that a lot of analysts are pointing to, the idea that the drug charges are just a really convenient cover story for something much, much bigger. This slide really just lays it all out, doesn't it? You've got these two competing realities side by side. On one hand, the official US position. This is all about stopping narco-terrorism. But on the other hand, you've got the critics saying no way. They believe those drug charges are basically a Trojan horse, a perfect excuse for a military operation that's actually about controlling Venezuela's incredible natural wealth. So to really get the critics' point of view, we have to talk about the geopolitical elephant in the room, and that is Venezuela's absolutely unbelievable oil wealth. And get this, it's a single number, but it's staggering. To be super clear, Venezuela doesn't just have a lot of oil. It has the largest proven oil reserves on planet Earth, #1. More than Saudi Arabia, more than anyone. I mean, just look at this. To put it in perspective, Venezuela's reserves are larger than many of the major Middle Eastern oil countries combined. This isn't just a national treasure, it is a global strategic prize. And here's the thing, this isn't some new idea. For a lot of experts, this move fits right into a pattern that's been going on for a long, long time. The fight to control oil and other resources has been a major factor in foreign policy and intervention in that part of the world for decades. So let's pull all this back together. What are we really looking at here? It feels like this collision of three massive forces: pure power, precious petroleum, and of course, public perception. What we're all being told is happening. And look, this whole thing matters way beyond Venezuela. First off, it sets a massive precedent for using military force to just go in and grab a head of state. Second, it puts a spotlight on that potential gap between what a government says it's doing and what its actual geopolitical motives might be. And finally, it really forces us to ask that tough question: just how much of foreign policy is driven by who has the natural resources? And in the end, that's the big question this whole event leaves us with. When you have the incredible pressures of geopolitics crashing into the incredible value of natural resources, how do you tell the difference between the official story and the whole story? It's definitely something to think about.